Good morning everyone and welcome to the real world. Today we are going to be watching a video of a female swimmer recounting her and her teammates' experience with a transgender man, Leah, in the locker rooms. This video is going to be a little intense, so viewer discretion is advised. Let's get started. So, during a meeting, it's unclear what type, but I'm pretty sure it's a school board meeting, a swim team member spoke out about a transgender man on the team. I'm going to let you watch the video, and I want you to see if you notice some things that I saw. Let's take a watch.
My teammates and I were forced to undress in the presence of Leah, a 6'4" tall biological male, fully intact with male genitalia, 18 times per week.
Now let me take a moment to point some things out. This girl didn't really seem to have any problem having someone on her swim team that was a man because of physical strength differences. She never mentioned the usual, well, men are stronger and shouldn't be able to compete with women. But this is so absurd that she doesn't even bring that up. Let's keep watching.
Some girls opted to change in bathroom stalls, and others used the family bathroom to avoid this.
Okay, so this girl creeps out the swimmers so much that they go and change in other bathrooms and stalls. Instead of making the transgender guy changing in a different area, the girls have to move. Frankly, if I were one of those girls, I would have left that swim team, but I understand if they are, in 11th grade and have been in the water since 7th, that would be a very difficult thing to do to just give up.
When we tried to voice our concerns to the athletic department, we were told that Leah's swimming and being in our locker room was a non-negotiable, and we were offered psychological services to attempt to re-educate us to become comfortable with the idea of undressing in front of a male.
What?
Now we have the athletic department telling the girls that Leah changing in the locker rooms was non-negotiable and they just need to suck it up. But this is where things get really risky. They went so far as to offer psychological services to these girls to re-educate them to be okay with undressing in front of a man. Now, I don't even know where to start with that. As I'm sure you can conclude, that is brainwashing. I'm sure you didn't need my help to figure that one out. But what is super crazy about it is that this is happening in universities. This is the stuff that happens in cults. The fact that these girls were supposed to be psychologically reconditioned to be okay with this is a huge red flag and really makes my skin crawl.
To sum up the university's response, we, the women, were the problem, not the victims.
Now she points out that they were told that they were the problem and not the victims. So here's where it gets a little angering. In no way is Leah the victim. Leah hasn't been told he can't change in the locker room. Leah has not been told that he is the one who needs to change in the bathroom stalls or family bathroom. And Leah has not been told that he is the problem. No. Instead of telling the one oddball to live in his make-believe world in the family bathroom, they decided to inconvenience and creep out an entire team of biological girls so that he could play pretend. What makes this all so much worse is that, as mentioned before in the video, the transgender person, he had all his parts. What is to stop him from sexually assaulting a girl in this locker room? So let's finish up this video.
We were expected to conform, to move over, and shut up. Our feelings didn't matter.
What the girl says is key here. Our feelings didn't matter. We were just expected to shut up and move over. Why is it that their feelings, the 10 or so girls, didn't matter, but the one guy playing pretend is the one who they care about? And I'm going to deviate here. Being transgender, that's what playing pretend is. Being transgender is playing pretend. You're not the gender that you make up. You are born male or female. And if you've seen any of my previous videos, you'll know that I touch on that. They don't give two tomatoes about how these girls have to live. This raises a question that I turn to Google for. I'm going to read a few things that I found, but it's definitely not going to be what you expect. Lots of people feel uncomfortable in public restrooms, and that was true long before the current public debates about access for transgender people. Transgender people also want privacy in bathrooms, and they use the bathroom for the same reason as everyone else, to do their business and leave. Thankfully, bathrooms have stall doors, so this is not an issue. Opponents of equal rights are using a desire for privacy without discussing what privacy truly means as a way to harm transgender people. So basically what I get from this is they're saying that people that want gender segregated bathrooms are doing so because they actively are trying to harm the transgender community. Really? We just want private bathrooms. Furthermore, transgender inclusive policies do allow for men's and women's rooms and do not require gender-neutral bathrooms. Instead, transgender inclusive policies allow all people, including transgender people, to use the bathroom that best matches their gender identity. Those who are living as women use the women's room, and those that are living as men use the men's restroom. But lastly, forcing transgender to use private or separate bathrooms is not the solution. End quote. What makes this so scary is the fact that I couldn't find anything about why transgender people want to use the bathroom they closely identify by, which is what I Googled in the first place. But upon further research, I found the following. There is no rule that a person must look a certain way to use a certain restroom. This kind of gender policing is harmful to everyone, whether a transgender person, a butch woman, an effeminate man, or anyone dressed or groomed in a way that doesn't conform to someone else's gender standards. Moreover, courts have increasingly found that discrimination against transgender people is sex discrimination. For instance, in Mathis v. Fountain Fort Carson School District 8, Colorado's Division of Civil Rights found that denying a transgender girl access to the women's restroom at school was discrimination. They reasoned, by not permitting the student to use the restroom with which she identifies as non-transgender students are permitted to do, the school treated the student less favorably than other students seeking the same service. Furthermore, the court rejected the school's defense that the discriminatory policy was implemented to protect the transgender student from harassment, and observed that transgender students are in fact safest when a school does not single them out as different. Based on this finding, it is no longer acceptable to institute different kinds of restroom rules for transgender and cisgender people. End quote. So I notice here that it says, by not permitting the student to use the restroom with which she identifies as non-transgender students are permitted to do. So I'm just going to stop there. We're not using the restrooms with which we identify. We're using the restrooms that were made for male and female. Male and female is not identification, it's gender assignment. Because you are assigned that gender at birth. There is no identification. Anyway, this frightened me even further. I thought that at least people who look like the gender they're imitating would be the only ones using the bathroom. However, if we cannot differentiate who uses which bathroom, and we can't even set a boundary of if you at least look like a woman, you can use a woman's bathroom, then that's scary. The reason it's so scary is because any man can walk into a woman's restroom and nobody can question it. We have gone through the Me Too movement, which was also a sham, and it seems to have had no effect. But that is what the left does. Whatever crazy movement they begin means absolutely nothing, because as soon as it doesn't fit their agenda anymore, they come up with a contradictory movement or statement. As I always say, the left constantly contradicts itself. Anyways, thanks for watching. Everyone stay safe, keep your children safe, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.
And I'm just trying to find me some kind of life I've dreamed about. And we're all tired and lonely,